Hi.
Hi, how's it
Oh my
going?
gosh, it's so good. It's going good. How are you?
It's great to see you too. I cannot, I'm not better than this. It's been
It's
years.
great. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Robin Mubara.
yeah.
Did you have a good iftar?
Sorry. Can you repeat again?
Oh, it was okay. I said, did you have a good iftar?
Yeah, it was great. We had dinner, for a long from morning to until night. We are fasting. It was good. So first of
Good.
all, yeah, thank you
Glad to hear
for
it.
thank you for joining this interview. I would love to talk to you about your experience in Turkey. Like you were here and teaching English, so I want like at the time I my English was so half. You know that really well from the very beginning. So there are questions that I want to ask, like how coming to the idea of coming to Turkey, how the idea pop up. So how was the process? Your experience of teaching English, or what do you think about the things like that? Like I want to cover up those questions. So like, can we
Sounds
start?
great.
Yeah, can we start from like how the idea of coming to Turkey came onto the table?
Yeah. So when I was getting ready to graduate from college, I was told about the Fulbright program, and it's like a teacher exchange grant thing that they do from the United States and a bunch of different countries. And I was thinking about where I wanted to go. I actually had a few different countries in mind, and it was Vietnam, somewhere in South America. I can't remember which one exactly. And then Turkey. Those are my
Yeah.
three choices. And I had already been to Vietnam, and the country that was in South America, I remember they only would let like 3 or 4 people go. And I was like, well, I probably like hundreds of people would apply. So I was like, okay, my chances are probably not so good. And it was a lot of work. So I was like, okay, well, Turkey, I've never been there. And I thought it would be really interesting to go. And it was like the amount of people that they let go there was higher. So I had better chances. Because again, it was a lot of work. We had to fill out all these forms and write essays. There were interviews. Like, it was really intense.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, I had never been there, and I thought it would be really interesting to go to such a different place from anywhere
So
else I had gone.
what was your first impression about Turkey?
I remember, so before I came to Turkey, I had one of my classmates, he had a coworker who was Turkish. She was from like Istanbul, a
Yeah.
very different experience from Malatya, and
Yeah.
so hospitable, just like the Turks are. And I was like, right away, I knew like, okay, this is how she is treating me. Like, this is probably what I can expect from the Turkish people. And then
Yeah.
I showed up, and it was absolutely true. Like, I thought it was such an interesting place, and the people were so nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, overall, it was like, this is a great place to be. I was really excited to be there.
Yeah. I mean, even in Istanbul and Malatya is like so far from each other and different. Like people, um, mostly like Istanbul is like my like I can say New York in America, in the United States.
Mhm.
Is Malatya is like much
Yeah.
more smaller than that, and people are more close to each other. And you know that really well. We just visit, walk around the
Yeah.
Malatya together many times. So when you come to
Yeah.
Turkey and start to work in Malatya, what kind of difficulties did you had? Like you were like as a woman and alone. What were the difficulties of living there alone?
Well, I mean, I didn't know very much Turkish. Like, I was learning, but that
Yeah.
was kind of difficult. But I found that the people in Malatya were very patient with me, and like they would try to understand me and I would try to understand them. But yeah, being a woman there was kind of difficult. It is more traditional in Malatya. So
Yeah.
I remember one time I wore like a tank top out in public and everyone was just like staring at me. I'm like, oh no, I wasn't thinking about it because like in Istanbul and Ankara, I could wear, like shorts and t-shirts and things, but
Yeah.
people don't do that there so much east. So that was a learning experience.
They are like here.
And then of course people looked at me because I looked different. Yeah, exactly. And then of course people looked at me because I looked different from everyone and they weren't so used to seeing like tourists, foreigners like they are in the bigger cities. So like, what are you doing here? Where are you from? That was the biggest question. They were like, asked me interviews like, are you Turkish? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, where are you from then? Why are you here? Why do you speak our language? Like, that was a question I got a lot. Like, where are you from? And why do you speak Turkish? Like, that was an interesting, like, I live here. I have to learn.
Yeah, of course. Actually, the interesting part is like in Malatya, there's no too much foreign people. Like the year that you and Mr. Steven and some other teacher were here, it was like for the first time I see someone from other country I see in Malatya going around. It was not just for me. I'm sure like whoever saw you on the street, it was interesting for them because it was for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not common.
Yeah, especially if they weren't a university student, because there were a few international students, but not very many, like you said, and probably not everyone got to interact with them. So
yeah, exactly.
That was
So I have a YouTube channel. Sometimes I also talk about you like we had an experience. I never gave up practicing on speaking English. I was stick to with my teacher. I talk about that a lot on my channel. So you were teaching English in Malatya. What can you say about the first impression of your students, like in college? Like what was your first impression about learning English? Their approach.
Okay. I remember like they were all very, very shy. Like very few students wanted to talk to me, even if they knew English pretty well. So that was pretty funny. And then students like you who didn't think they spoke well, but your English was great when I met you. So it was very mixed. Like there were some students who seemed like they either had a different kind of teacher or maybe they studied outside of class. And then some students, maybe they didn't have the best teacher or maybe they didn't study. Hard to say.
Yeah. For me, even I was really like when I first know about you, I was sort of shy. Like I was, should I approach her to practice on my speaking English? You know that? So I asked you like every Thursday lunchtime. It was our time that we were practicing in English. When I remember those moments, I feel like a little bit embarrassed because because like we were eating, but at the same time I was trying to speak just with a few words. It was funny, but I tell myself, you did good. Like I did great. If I didn't, then we wouldn't able to create a connection other than just learning English. We also created a friendship, and I learned about your culture. You learned about my culture. We were trying to communicate in a way that we do in our best,
Definitely. Yeah. And like you said, we were able to speak and we were able to get to know each other. Like you had nothing to be embarrassed about, I promise.
Of course.
Especially like no hate on any of my other students, but like you were like my top 3 students that I met in Turkey who had the best English. So
yeah, you are also whenever I speak English, you're always part of it. Like I always remember you.
That makes me so happy. That's so sweet.
Yeah. That's actually awesome. Like when I think like, okay, when I look at the map, this is the United States, but I have a piece of there and you have a piece of here in the east part of Turkey,
Yes, I do. I still have the Quran that you gave me. It's at my parents' house, but it's there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So, like, how about like the education system? Because you were also dealing with like your bosses. So generally, what do you think about people approach?
They were, I remember my bosses at the university, I think they were more relaxed than maybe some of my friends who were teaching in the western part of Turkey. So that part was really nice for the most part. Like they were like, if I wanted to go somewhere on the weekend, that was fine. Because we had to tell the Fulbright program if we were traveling over the weekend, just so they knew where we were, so we were safe since we were young, and they just wanted to make sure. But they were like, yeah, whatever, bye. And like they didn't care. And they were like, they didn't like come in and like bother me and like try to tell me what to do, which I appreciated. But then sometimes, on the other hand, the relaxed nature was like not so good, because like I would have students who would come in late, like they would be like an hour late to our class, and I would like mark them absent, or like if we had something to turn in or like a presentation, I wouldn't let them do it. They were an hour late. Like, I'm sorry, we need to go on. And then like they would tell me like, well, they're going to show up late. It's okay. You still have to let them do the presentation. And I was like, oh, this just tells them it's okay to be late to my class. And it was students whose English wasn't so good. I could understand, if you are doing really well and you're late, like, okay. But if you're struggling and like you had to pass the hazırlık program before you could go on. And these students weren't going to pass. So I wanted them to show up and realize how serious it was. But that was kind of cast aside, which was frustrating. But overall, it was a good experience working there.
Yeah, actually, when I look back, I see like a fundamental problem, also not just in Turkey, but also all around the world. Like when you're learning something, you need to actually go deep. And here, I think like the education, like coming from like a zero when you're a baby, it was some sort of like you're passing, but just passing. You're passing just to pass. But like for me, learning English was like creating a new personality and improving myself and proving myself that I can capable of speaking in another language in the best way I can. I talk about those on my YouTube channel a lot because one of the trauma that I had when I speak Turkish, I get judged a lot by the way I speak Turkish and so on. So English is like, I can say like my second chance. And that's why I was that much determined to speak, improve my English.
That makes sense. Well, I think, so people like make fun of your Turkish accent or something since you're from the East.
Yeah, my Turkish accent is a little bit different than standard Turkish accent, but it's fun because it's where I lived, where what I heard most
Exactly.
So I enjoy when I speak. People around me enjoy, they laugh. But when it comes to some other environments, it becomes sometimes tiresome and I feel sad. But it's totally fine right now. Like I learned how to manage it through time.
I think it's the same in the United States. Like I live in the South right now, and the Southern accent, like there's like a stereotype that like you're not very smart and you're kind of like you don't really know what's going on in the world. Like maybe it's kind of similar to that with the Eastern Turkish accent.
Yeah, exactly. Like Texas accent, people. Quite different. I know. Like there is a TV show called Young Sheldon.
Oh yeah, mom loves that show.
Yeah, I also love it. I watched it. I'm waiting for the new season. I'm not sure when they will it start, but I'm waiting for it. Yeah, listening from different accents is really fun.
Yeah, definitely. And it's good practice too. Then you can understand people from all over the place. I think that's what helped me with my Turkish too, was I was hearing the Eastern Turkish version. And like when I would travel, I would hear like the Central and the West. And it was like, whoa, you could hear the difference, definitely.
Yes, it's just practice. It's all about practice.
Just like in English.
Yeah, of course. So I have a few more questions about the classes, English speaking classes. So is there any moment that you can never forget in our classes?
Yeah, there were a couple of funny ones. Like I remember there was like, it was on one of our really big like test exam days, like where they had to do the speaking presentations, right? You remember
Yeah,
those where you had
yeah.
to get up in front of everyone and like give like a 5-minute speech or something. And that day I had a couple of boys who came up to me and they had these like paper flowers that they made. And then
Yeah,
they come up to me in the morning like, oh, Hojam, like you look so nice today. And I'm like, that's nice, but that's not going to make your grade any better.
yeah,
So that was really, I still had one of those actually. I might still have it in my parents' house, but
yeah.
I kept it. I took it with me. I thought that was so
It's a
funny.
good memory.
Yeah, exactly. And then we had a lot of fun. Like we played a lot of fun games in class. I remember that. And then my student, I'll show you. I have this
Okay.
I got this scarf there. And I was wearing it like around my neck because that's like what you
Yeah,
do
I
in the United
remember.
States. But
Yeah,
then everyone's like, oh, it's like Taze Heather instead of Heather Hoja. Like I was
yeah,
really embarrassed, but it was also really funny. So it was
yeah.
like,
Yeah, I remember that one. You always put it around your neck.
yeah, that was a hilarious day. They like, I walked in the class and they all started laughing at me. I'm like, what? What's so funny? Oh,
Yeah,
so embarrassing. It's okay.
yeah. I mean, those are the experiences when we look back. They're yes, funny and like good memories that makes us smile. You know.
Yeah. But in the moment, you're like, oh no, like I want to hide right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
For me, I remember that we went to Malatya Park together, and we went to tailor together to
Mhm.
make your trousers cut a little bit.
Great. That's great. I
The
remember
guy
that
asked
too.
you, "Where are you from?" With his Turkish
Yep.
accent. You said you didn't understand. I told him that California, and he said, "Oh, okay. Where is California and where is Malatya? How are you here?" He just kind of said like this. When I never forget this. It was really funny for him to like realize you and asking and saying like this. It was really funny.
Oh yeah, they like you
Yeah,
said, he probably hadn't met very many foreigners before. So he's like, "What are you doing in my shop?
yeah,
How did you
exactly.
find your way here?"
Yeah, exactly.